We're live. What's going on, everybody?
Howdy.
We are very, very excited. We have been actually chatting for the last 15, 20 minutes before we are live, and it was a good conversation. So I feel like today's going to be good.
Be fun.
If it's not,
we'll blame Evan.
Please put an IT ticket and let us know.
It's my fault, yeah.
Yeah, it's Dan's fault. Again, add us, comment us, let us know where you're tuning in from. Let's show Evan some love. So for those of you who are watching, listening, viewing us, please add us, please comment. I will throw your information up for Evan so he can see you. But definitely let's show some love. Noah, good morning. What's going on, buddy? It's good to see you, man. So Evan, I have to ask you a question. So what is your favorite coffee shop what is your go-to place in Austin for coffee?
Hard question. I really like Cosmic.
I don't think I've been there.
It's on Cosmic on South Congress. They have like a huge outdoor area. They have food trucks there. I'll spend like 5 hours just hanging out outside and at Cosmic. But I also like Juan Pelotas. I like Medici. There got to be 1,000 coffee shops in like. Dude,
there's so much coffee. There's so much coffee.
And hey, everybody, about that Starbucks on 6th Avenue, you know?
Yeah, Starbucks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Love me some Starbucks.
So Evan, here's a question: is it black coffee or cream or a little sugar? Like, what's kind of your go-to?
Cream. Just cream.
I get it. Yeah.
And like the thicker the cream, the better.
Yeah, like basically out of the cow.
Pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much.
They have their own cow in the back in that big outdoor open area you were talking about?
No, but they do have a chicken coop.
What?
It's very Austin.
It's not up to code, but that's super awesome.
Yeah.
Go get yourself for some fresh eggs and a good cup of coffee.
Exactly.
Katya, it's good to see you. Hey, everybody, for those of you tuning in, we just jumped up in a ton of viewers. So for those of you who are watching again, add us, comment us, let Evan know where you're tuning in from. We're very excited. But I want to go ahead and dive in. Because we have a lot to talk about. I think it's going to be a really, really good conversation. We have a bunch of questions for Evan. So, Evan, I'm thank you again for coming on, man. We really appreciate it. We're incredibly grateful and thankful. Give us 30 seconds, quick background about you, just who you are, and then we'll go ahead and dive into why we're here this morning.
Cool. I'm Evan Kirkham. I'm a Dallas, Texas native. Grew up there, did my undergrad at Ole Miss, got my law degree at SMU back in Dallas, practiced securities law and general commercial litigation for about 3.5 years, made the jump to Colorcast and co-founder and CEO of Colorcast, which is combining my passion for podcasting and live sports.
I love it. So let's talk about this thing called Colorcast. Now, we were talking obviously off air before we started, and you had some really good thoughts on what your product is, right?
Yeah.
Give us if you can, give us the 1-minute pitch that you gave to win South by Southwest this week, the 1-minute pitch competition. Again, congratulations to you and your team.
Thank you
for winning that. Give us the pitch. I've actually been dreaming about hearing you say this for the last week.
Oh, God. All right. Well, that's a lot of pressure, but and we'll see if I can keep it to a minute. But I mean, maybe I do it less. The long and short is this. The social audio industry is blowing up. We've seen the rise of podcasting. Now we're seeing Clubhouse. Audio is on the ascent. And at the same time, we know that there are some legacy industries, particularly sports, that are actually on the decline. What we saw is a market opportunity where we could essentially change live sports forever by leveraging this kind of social audio wave to supplement the live sports experience. And so what we've essentially built is Colorcast, and what Colorcast is a platform where anybody, anywhere with no equipment, literally just your iPhone, can talk about live sports in real time and, importantly, in sync. And what I mean by that is if you say touchdown, all of your listeners are actually seeing the touchdown on the TV. So we've got some really cool proprietary syncing tech that allows that to happen. We're growing 100% month over month. We crushed the NFL season. We're crushing the NBA right now. We're in the middle of our March Madness caster showdown. And it just seems like there are greener and greener pastures every month. So yeah, if you guys on, get on.
I'm gonna get on.
Be a listener, but seriously, anybody can be a caster. If you're watching sports with your friends on your couch, you're already casting. You're just not on air until you download the app. It's that easy.
So how does it work? Do you like if Dan is a caster, I have to subscribe to Dan, his cast, to hear him, and I have to listen or watch it on a separate channel, or is it all integrated in?
Yeah.
No matter where I watch it. How's that
Basically, so I'll just let me walk you through the listener experience. So you sit down. I'm a big Cowboys fan, so forgive me if I reference the Cowboys 50 times over. But let's say I'm sitting down for a Cowboys game. I plop down on my couch. I turn the TV onto the Cowboys, and I'm like, okay, I want to know who's talking about Cowboys. So I open Colorcast. If Colorcast has done its job right, there's going to be a huge event tile right in front of you that says, okay, you click the Cowboys versus Eagles tile, and immediately we're going to drop you into content with someone talking about the game that you're watching. You can get synced with them. If you don't like them, you can tune to the next caster. An infinite amount of people can Colorcast at the same time. So so there could be 1,000 different options for commentary about the Cowboys game.
How do you guys determine kind of the ranking order of, if I'm interested in watching a Florida Gators game, how do I determine if it is just some random person versus somebody that may know what they're talking about? Like, what's your algorithm look like, if you can?
Good question. I'll tell you a high level. So
you don't need to get into the nuts and bolts, because I have no idea what any of that means.
we already have people like very much concerned about where they are on the ranking. So so from a high level, we weight verification, listener count, chat count, and like count. The heaviest is verification. The second heaviest is listeners. So if you get on and you're not verified yet, shoot out a bunch of invites to your friends to come listen to you, and you'll move up the rank.
Unicorn Finders is going to use Colorcast, I think, moving forward. And we're going to do
We're going to make Jake give his analysis on football.
My gosh. Yes, we got to give Jake to do sports stuff. That is going to be awesome. Evan, so I'm curious.
Goal unit basket.
Yeah, goal unit basket. So Evan, I'm fascinated. And again, I'm interested in how this idea came about, right? Because because my thing is like, this sounds amazing, right? Like, why have it? I mean, like, how did it form? Because I watch all my live events over Twitter, but it's brilliant to come at it from like the audio side. So how did this how was this?
Yeah. Well, actually, first I'll answer that, and I kind of said this when we were talking before we went live. But in a lot of ways, we're thinking of ourselves as audio live tweeting. You're already getting updates from people on Twitter live when the game's happening. Like, it's easier to consume that if they're just talking to you versus you having to read. But the aha moment, again, here's a Cowboys reference. So I was watching a Thursday night football game in 2019. Jason Witten and Booger McFarland were on the call. Both of them are like notoriously awful. I was especially like pissed at Jason Witten because he's a Cowboy and he's going to have his number retired in Arlington. Like, he's a Cowboy through and through, but of course, because he's on the network, he has to be purposefully like unbiased. And so for the first time in my life, I'm like, I'm done with this. Just like turn off the TV. And in that moment, I'm like, damn, like, okay, I don't know everything about the Cowboys, but like, at least I could be a fan. And so I thought I could do it. My friend could do it. Emmitt Smith could do it. That's sort of how it started. We got some early validation.
You, your friend Emmitt Smith, but
Emmitt Smith, exactly. Yeah, so my friend and I casted. Emmitt Smith is not casted yet.
I'll take.
But no, good point. Yeah, we're getting there. We got some early validation though. Like, there's some audio gold out there, or it's actually a video. But Snoop Dogg. This is like right after we had the idea and kind of formed the co-founders or whatever. There was a video floating around of Snoop Dogg actually getting invited down to the broadcast booth at a Lakers game. And for like 2.5 minutes, in all of his Snoopism glory. Snoop is like, like, for instance, one guy pulls up for a 3 and Snoop goes, "Threes, please." And like, just, that type of, it takes 2 to make a thing go right. And at that moment, we're like, oh my God, this is Colorcast. Except for we should distribute this to everybody.
Yeah.
And so there was some early validation like that too, before we had product.
Snoop validates a lot of products.
He does.
It just happens.
Mostly in the cannabis category.
In the cannabis
right.
Yeah, exactly.
But he revived Martha Stewart's career, so shout out to Snoop. So, talk to us about. I mean, you're not a tech guy, right? You're a lawyer.
Yep.
But you invented tech. How did you get from, hey, this is a good idea and this makes sense and it's kind of validated, to, all right, well, we need to start putting code down somewhere. What'd your thought process go through, and how'd you ultimately find tech and tech people and build this company?
Well, I'll answer that last question first. So the team was actually pre-existing. We were working on a different app in the pay. Honestly, like, we weren't that passionate about it. It was like too complicated. But we already had the existing team. The way that we kind of got validation and, I decided to make the full-time leap is I'm really open about my kind of startup ideas, and I post them all the time on LinkedIn. Like, if you go back in my LinkedIn feed, it's like startup idea, startup idea, startup idea. And so for this one, I literally had the aha moment on Thursday night. Friday morning, I posted the idea on LinkedIn, called it Colorcast and everything, and had our first investor DM me and say, "Hey, take that down. Let's get lunch tomorrow." So I was like, great. So we got lunch, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm willing to put some money in. I believe in you. Like, I believe in the product." And once you start taking investor checks, then you get a lot more serious about it, where you're like, "Oh God, like,
you're supposed to.
This isn't just a LinkedIn idea.
Like, it's not just me anymore." So,
what was kind of like that off the ground, to where you had an MVP and you could take on people on your platform? If you could share it, what was like total cost of ownership for that little piece right there? If I'm thinking I'm not a tech person, I have a great idea. What's realistically in your journey, what it was like, man, we need this much investment or this much out of pocket. Let's go. Right. To get to
MVP, like dollar amount.
Mm-hmm.
To get to MVP, dollar amount was probably 150 grand. Now I would say this though, I'd caveat that for anyone listening, like,
of course,
it totally depends on what product you're building. Like, we built the syncing tech as part of our MVP, and that was a bear. That cost a ton more money.
It's huge.
We hired 2 full-time engineers basically right off the bat. I think I'm a subscriber to kind of like the lean startup philosophy, which is just like build something insanely simple and iterate on it.
Yep.
Our insanely simple version of the app is not so simple. So it costs more than, popping up a website and just rocking and rolling. Like, that's actually one thing that I've learned, and a VC told me along the way, which is kind of cool, is like, if you have a startup idea, and you don't have a ton of funds, spend like $5,000 or something putting up a website and just marketing the crap out of it, even if you don't have product.
Yep.
See what buy-in you can get, and then raise on that buy-in.
It's so true, man. We talk about this even with people coming straight out of, code camps or code schools. They have to do this final project, and we're like, just start that, like, while you're waiting to hire, just jump on 1 or 2 folks and make that a product company. So you're working on something while you're doing, because marketing, it's just marketing. It's all marketing at that point.
It is. Yep. Totally agreed.
Marketing experience. That's good, man.
So I know we brought it up. I know I brought it up briefly when we started this thing. Talk to us about the win at South by. Like,
Sure.
What was that? What did it entail? What did you have to do? Like, because I kind of know about South by. I've never been. The Unicorn Finders, I think, has to make a pilgrimage out to South by once the world rights itself. Because I think
we were supposed to.
That's where we belong.
Something happened.
Yeah, it's where we belong. Unicorn Finders belongs at South by. So talk to us about that, Evan.
Sure. Okay, so Yeah, so I honestly applied for South by like the day before the deadline passed because I literally just had this thought. I'm like, wait, isn't South by coming up? Go on their website. It's like tomorrow is the last day to put in your application. I'm like, oh my God. So applied, got in. And what I had to do is record just a 1 minute pitch. And so I don't think we can release it yet to the public. There's South by made me sign some crazy contract, but basically what it is like, it's just me standing up in front of a white wall saying like,
That's
you
awesome.
know, audio is the future. Colorcast is the best. Like, here's what we're building.
Wow.
And so it was a minute speed pitch and they played it live during the entertainment section of the conference. And so we were up against 20 or 30 some competitors from around the world. I mean, these are, really cool companies from as far as like Hong Kong, Berlin, wherever. And I got an email on Saturday that's like, you won. So what it really means for us, honestly, more than anything, is it just helps us get the word out. There was a little bit of a cash prize, but it's kind of menial, honestly.
Sure.
So for us, it's like, we can get out there and say like, hey, look, another person is validating what we're doing here, or not even another person, like reputable people are validating what we're doing here. And so it's just a great press moment for us. The team's motivation too. The team is like, that it helped boost all of our, all of our spirits. So yeah, it's good. It's great.
Wow, that's so cool. Good for you. Good for you guys.
And this is your first appearance since that, right?
First appearance.
You chose to come to the Unicorn Fighters immediately.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had so many options. It was really hard to choose, but
I feel like he's like the music artist that like you book him at your bar and then their song goes like #1 on the radio, but they're already booked at your bar. And he's like, oh, I should
booked him at a roller skating rink.
Stadium. They're like, oh, sorry, here's our bar of 1,000 people.
Yeah.
How did you?
People in a bar. That's wow.
Yeah, this was years ago, Jake. So where do you guys go from here? I mean, audio, like you said, is kind of the way of the future. We've started to see it. Obviously, you said with podcasting, we've seen it with audio.
Clubhouse.
What's it called? Clubhouse. Yeah. So we've seen it with that. Where do you guys continue to go? How do you grow? Is there ways that you guys can sync I guess just tell me that, and I got a follow-up question.
Yeah. So we're really, really focused on sports right now for a variety of reasons. That's where our syncing tech is. That's where we have like live stats and scores and betting odds and we built like our product is built around sports. That said,
hold on, real quick, Evan, before you go, what does it sync? You've talked about your syncing technology a couple times now. What does it sync to? Like, is it to like certain words that you hear? Is it to like
good question.
A stream somewhere else that's like being piped in? How does that work?
Yeah, I have to be a little bit careful with this because it's like the proprietary tech part. But I can tell you, like, you can see it on the app right here, right now. So like, we actually sync to your game clock. So our big kind of like thoughtful breakthrough was everyone has a straight up timestamp on their TV, and if we can get them to tell us what that timestamp is. On both ends, the caster and the listener, then we can adjust for the delta.
Okay.
So we call it our game clock syncing strategy. Yep, and we're the only people doing it, and there's a lot built on top of it, which makes it possible. But yeah, it is. It's really cool. Our game clock itself, and I'll digress a little bit. Like our game clock itself is so sick. Like You know how like when you're a big Gators fan, so like you're at a dinner and the Gators are playing, and you're like, what's the score? And you like go under the table and you're looking at that like awful ESPN game simulator that updates once every 40 seconds.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Our game clock updates once every quarter second. So you can literally see the number, like the time roll off the scoreboard, and like what's really cool is it's tethered to the stream. So if you back up in the stream, you'll quite literally see the points roll off of the scoreboard.
So I'll do that every time the Gators lose. I'll just watch it in reverse.
You just go back. That did not happen.
For those of you who are watching, we're going to take a pause break. If you're watching now, because I'm doing it, go download Colorcast right now. If you are watching it, just do it now. I'm doing it. Do it now.
URL
I'll watch the numbers live.
Yeah, I put the URL in there.
What is the URL?
Colorca.st.
Wait, what?
That's our really like
oh my god
version of URL.
Colorca.st.
All right, cool.
Do you get it, Taylor? It's like Colorcast.
Yeah,
there it is.
Colorcast.
That's it.
That way.
Go ahead and download it. I just downloaded it.
Man, Evan, we really needed a /unicorn finders on that, so
you know what?
Dang, we really should have done
We
that.
can hook you up with that.
We're gonna do that.
For real?
Evan,
Probably, yeah.
We'll
Yes,
that.
we can totally hook you up with that.
Okay.
That's super cool. I'm excited. You might get me watching sports, guys. This might happen.
That's what we're here for.
This
This has been a ruse the whole time, Jake. We're just trying to get you.
We started this a year and a half ago just to trick me into watching sports ball.
Yeah.
So Evan, is the goal to kind of stick with audio forever? Do you think there's ever going to be opportunities to like rewatch games with people? Like, I don't know. I mean, obviously you're syncing in real time. Is there ever a chance like go back and, for instance, I bring up this example and you can steal this idea, on our podcast, on the other one that I have, we brought on 3 former like national champion winning like wide receivers to rewatch like a national championship game and give like their thoughts on the game and everything. Yeah. So, do you ever think that there's like a way of doing that in the future, or being able to like kind of bring in
that'd be cool,
that kind of, backward kind of thought process?
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
maybe
you can have my idea. Just say your idea.
So we don't actually record. So this is not exactly answering your question, but like right now we don't actually record the casts. Like it's live and it's on. It's very like Snapchatty. Like unless you're there live, you're not hearing it. But we do plan in the future to record. And a lot of reason we want to do that is so that like casters can have a portfolio of work. Even if you're not able to watch the game, you can kind of like maybe listen to whatever they were saying later. I do like the idea of going back to other games. What we might have to do for that is like choose. I don't really ever see a time in which like every game is available from the past, but maybe like a national championship or the Super Bowl or something like that. That could be a really cool opportunity.
You know what I've always wanted to do, Evan? We need to hook this up. I've always wanted to live talk over the Mighty Ducks as a hockey player myself.
Yeah.
As an ice hockey player myself, I want to talk over the Mighty Ducks and be like, this isn't possible. This doesn't make sense. This would never, like, I kind of want to bash the movie in like a kind of a self-deprecating way.
Bite your tongue.
Nice.
Yeah. One of the greatest movies.
I love it. It's one of my favorite movies. But what I'm saying is like, just to say like, hey, like,
the flying V is very easy.
The flying V is not feasible.
Well, first,
hey, J. Russ like that. She likes that.
Yeah.
She likes that idea. So
one of the sweetest humans I know agrees with you bashing one of the best movies. I don't know. J. Russ, I don't know what this.
And hey, everybody, and for the record, real quick, if you are watching, you have questions for Evan, please comment at us, because I have a question I'm going to throw up.
Noah just had a great question on there.
Are there plans in the future to incorporate ways to support your favorite casters? An example being Twitch streamers, not necessarily donations, but followers, likes, etc., to become popular casters.
Yes. So we already have the tipping in place. It's V0. So basically you can connect your Venmo, Patreon, Cash App, whatever, and your followers can be like, just show you some love. We're going to make that way better, in pretty short order. Right now we actually don't have follows. We do have likes. We will have follows. There's also some really creative stuff that we're going to do, that I'm going to keep a little close to the vest, but like for us, like, for me, I guess, my customer is the caster. Like we're trying to build a really cool tool for casters, because our theory is if we can get them on and hanging out and sticking around, then they'll mobilize their existing audiences. Like
through
for
Twitter,
the next 2 years, I don't see us doing anything to try to, reach out to listeners specifically. For us, it's all supply side. Like the more casters we can get on, it's literally like a 1-to-1. Bring a caster on, get a listener.
So the way that works is that if I have 100,000 Twitter followers, which I probably do, Clearly, I can't even spell Twitter. But if I have those, I would put out, hey, join me on my Colorcast, just like people are doing with Clubhouse. Hey, do a drop in on this game because I'm going to give a commentary on X, Y, and Z.
Totally. Yep. And you can schedule in app. So there's that. And then what's really cool is when you're actually in the cast, there's an invite button. We let you like text the invite link out to your friends, post it on socials. What's cool with that one is it's actually a deep link. So if they click it, they go straight to your cast. They like bypass the home screen.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Dude, so that makes it like a lot better too. And we've had, I think in the last, gosh, I might get in trouble for quoting this, but like, I'm pretty sure in the last 2 months, we've had over 2,500 in-app shares. So people are like spreading the word with that invite button.
Oh, I'll do that in one text message.
What I tell all of our casters, I'm like, look, if you're shameless about like texting all your friends, or like be shameless because you're actually going to have more fun. Because what happens is you end up having like a 50% conversion rate. So you blast out like 100 people. You get 50 on. You're eligible to be verified on the platform. And then, oh, by the way, people are all up in the chat, and that's where all your content comes from. Like, forget the game. Answer the guy's question about LeBron being the GOAT. Like, that's what you end up doing. So anyway,
So Robert asked, Robert from Boise, Idaho. Robert, it's good to see you, buddy. Or not to see you, but
love Idaho. And it's Boise.
Is
Boise, Idaho.
Oregon boy over here. So we're right. Yeah, we spent.
What did I say? I said Boise, right?
Boise. It's Boise.
Okay.
You have to go. They'll correct you.
Only mobile? What tech stack are you using for mobile apps, Xamarin, native, etc.?
Mobile only, iOS only actually right now. So iPad, iPhone. I want to get on Android. It's like, we'll get there. I honestly don't even know the tech stack. I think we're building native iOS, but I'm like super non-technical. So I'm the wrong guy to ask that too.
Chris from Orlando. What's up, Chris? Just downloaded. This is actually a really cool concept. I can see this being huge. There you go.
Appreciate it, Chris.
Now, how do you guys handle commercial breaks and stuff like that?
That's actually a good question. So this is like a general response. I always tell casters that I'm bringing on, I say, hey, you do whatever the hell you want, like during the commercial breaks, during halftime, like even just during the cast, like do whatever you want. You know your audience best. What a lot of people have been doing with some success is when it goes to commercial break, they talk about scores around the league, or they spend that time looking at the chat. Everyone's kind of treating it differently. One of our guys even does like has kind of like a audience, game session in the middle. So he'll like play a theme song, and people like guess the theme song and win prizes. Like everyone's doing it really differently.
Cool. That's cool.
But yeah, and that's the whole idea. It's like people ask me, oh, how should I cast? They always want like guidance on it. And I've been really, really careful to never give any guidance. I'm like, honestly, go listen to some casts, see if you get inspired, but do whatever you want, because I don't even think we know what the winning formula is yet.
Yeah, that's so true.
What sports do you guys do? Do you do all, or are you guys just doing some right now?
So right now we are doing NBA, MLB, NHL, March Madness, NCAA basketball.
Mighty Ducks.
Special event.
Let me get back to that actually, because I want to speak about that. And then EPL and MLS and La Liga. So, but to be honest, and we're trying to get more casters on all those. The game clock syncing is only with NBA and NCAA basketball right now. We'll expand that, but so that's like our real sweet spot.
Cool. Would you consider doing beer league ice hockey at Centennial in Nashville, Tennessee? I have a game tonight, and we could. Nice. we could. I'll film it, and we can.
Yeah, Dan and I will do the voice.
We also have an open talk channel, and you can say whatever you want and cast whatever game you want. But that's what I wanted to say. I'm actually a hockey player myself, so Mighty Ducks near and dear to the heart.
Yeah, Dan is too. Dan not playing.
All right, so quick lightning round. You have to rank the Mighty Ducks 1, 2, and 3 in a 1, 2, and 3 order.
I think it's 1, 2, 3 for me. One's the best in my opinion.
2, 1, 3.
2, 3.
2, 1, 3. 3 is definitely the worst.
Yeah.
It's got its moments, but definitely the worst.
I think it's 1, 2, 3. I think it's 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
I just feel like the character development in 1 is good. I just like the origin story. Like
the origin's so good. Like Gordon Bombay falling in love with Charlie's mom. Like that's the main.
You guys are making me need to rewatch that. 'Cause I'm like,
you didn't really need 2 and 3 because you had an entire life cycle in 1, in my opinion.
What do you mean? You definitely needed 2. They needed to represent America.
Definitely need 2.
I didn't understand them winning the junior Goodwill games and then all them being on a JV team the next year. That's what I didn't understand about 3. That's just me.
Very interesting.
That's because it still comes down to just the coach. It's not about the players.
They don't play starters, Dan. Or they don't play freshmen.
And why is it that Adam Banks always gets promoted or he's always the best player, but you never see him do anything in a game? That's another internal thought that I have.
He's not a playmaker.
Because he was the one.
He's a role player. The Mighty Ducks are all role players.
He's just the face.
Like my hockey career.
He's just the face.
Yeah, same dude. All right, hey, a few more questions. This is good stuff. I did not think I'd wake up this morning and talk about Mighty Ducks with a startup co-founder, but here we are. Samuel goes, I would only want to listen to a caster who is biased towards my favorite team. That don't listen to Dan talk about Gamecock football. It would be convenient to see at a glance which team each caster is rooting for.
Yes, absolutely. We'd love to get like team preferences and that type of stuff in there. And it's on the roadmap. It's a little deeper on the roadmap.
Sure.
But I mean, here's the thing. A lot of the casters, their literal names are Lakers all day, every day. It's like, okay, that's a Lakers caster. It takes about 1 second to figure out which team they're for. But yeah, almost all of our casters are biased. We don't have any unbiased casters.
I'm going to be a Florida Gators fan and just trounce the Gators when I watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll be like everybody else on CBS. That's fine.
Is there a way to download a game with your casting over it? Thinking of people who might want to upload to a YouTube channel. I think we just
that's a good question. Not yet. One thing that we have been doing
and all that, right?
Yeah, one thing that we have been doing is like you can and this is kind of a hack, obviously, but like if you're a listener, you can screen capture just on your iPhone, like literally just screen capture and then upload that. And so sometimes when casters ask me, they're like, I really wish I had my recording. I'll be like, okay, I'll get someone on our team just to screen capture it and send it to them. So you can do the same thing to post it to socials. Or upload it to YouTube.
Yeah, because that would only help gather more followers, and listeners.
For sure.
You're calling them. Yeah, that's interesting.
And so anyone who's watching that wants to ask Evan questions either about his product or his journey as a startup founder, I please ask questions. Add us, comment us. We're going to be here for a few more minutes. Evan, I have a question for you.
Yep.
If people are like, okay, this is legit, I want to invest. Is that, are you like, what are you taking investment right now? What about fundraising? Like, what does that look like?
Take this off live. We're going to have a separate conversation. Just write you a check. It's fine.
Okay. No, but seriously. Yeah, we are fundraising right now. This is not a solicitation, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we are fundraising right now. We're raising our seed round. We were looking for an institutional investor. We already have a bunch of follow-on committed. Yeah, really hoping to, I mean, we've still got runway, so I'm not like up against a wall yet. But yeah, definitely trying to land our seed round and just literally kind of pour some gasoline on the fire.
Yeah, well, we're here for that.
I've got some gasoline.
You guys got gasoline?
Some gasoline
right now.
I was gonna say I've got some gas, but I didn't think that would work very well.
Have some gas.
Not the same.
Man, this is good stuff. I'm jacked up, man. So I mean, listen, like I'm like props. Like, I mean, I was scrolling through your app real quick. Like, I love the UI UX. I love how colorful it is. Like, I think apps don't give enough. I don't know. This is like my per 2 cents, but like
you've also seen our branding, right? We like color, right? So
yeah. We like color. We like color. But yeah, no, I really, really love this. Baseball, hockey, basketball. It's easy to use.
I mean, just to give you some idea of like the decision making there. So we're called Colorcast. Our brand is super colorful. I mean, our pitch deck, literally like the very front page of our pitch deck has Vic Mensa on it, and it says, "F it, we're watching football today," but it doesn't say effing. So, like, I mean, our whole shtick is like, let's be really colorful, let's be really biased, like let's stop being bland.
I love that.
And so we wanted to carry that thesis like through all of the UI. Like even if you read the copy on the website, it's like, or any of the copy in app, you know, it's just like there are a lot of like exclamation points and like, yo, like you made it here, congrats, man, like that type of stuff. You know, it's very, I don't even know. Like
one of my other absolute favorites when it comes to like, especially email marketing, things like that. If you haven't subscribed, you don't really need to, but I'm happy I did. Is Chubby's.
Okay.
Chubby's shorts and their shirts on their email marketing and their text marketing is hilarious and
cool.
just like human, right?
Yeah.
And bright and fun. It's awesome.
Bright. That's actually a good way.
That's what that reminds me.
That's what we're going for.
Yeah.
So I have a question, Evan.
Yeah, right now too.
Nice.
I have a question.
Sure.
And we talked about this briefly off air before we logged on. Let's talk about copy and marketing and the role marketing plays right now, because I feel like us three went live yesterday to talk about branding, and here we are talking about colors, and you know, Dan talked about the copy on your website being really good. You don't come from a marketing background per se, right?
No.
Right. So where is this? Is this push of the colors and the branding and the copy, where does this come from? Is this coming from you? Is this coming from people you have around you? And talk about the importance of marketing and branding right now in today's world. Because again, it's kind of piggybacking off of our live chat yesterday, just us three.
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of things that I don't take credit for in the app, like the entire app, because
Perfect.
The brand and the copy is literally just my voice.
That's awesome.
Everything that you read in app or on the website is I typed it. So
that's cool.
It's funny, like, and this is kind of why I knew this is right about when I was making the switch from law to this career. One of my supervising attorneys, the partner I worked for, he's like, Evan, your writing is incredibly colorful. I need it to be a little more rational. And so I've always kind of had this problem where it's like I write really colorfully, too much so. And so I just kind of, I don't know, it's just in my blood. So so I do the copy, and then the brand, again, it's just sort of part of our thesis, like anybody, anywhere, whatever take, like, so I don't know. It kind of fell in place naturally, but I definitely think it's kind of the right time, right place to be just like very real and colorful and fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
so, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, again, we talked about yesterday. I think brand right now. I mean, you know, you can't go to really necessarily South by right now, right? You can't go to these conferences and, you know, kind of pimp out your product. And so right now, it's all brand. It's internet presence. It's copy. It's, you know, writing things where it will resonate with them. Right. And that's, and not many people get that. So props to you for having that mindset and obviously being able to write that effectively as well. Yeah.
And one thing I will add is like, our brand, it's really weird. So like, we know we have to have a strong brand because, what is Colorcast outside of all of the casters on it? Like that's the content. We're not the content, we're just the platform. So in order to like maintain the relationships with the casters and kind of be sticky on the caster side, we have to have a really, really strong brand independent of all of our casters, because they're all going to have their own kind of like micro brands on the platform. And so one thing we try to do is we do everything we can to support our casters. And that's even like when they tweet, like I'm going live tonight, like we'll retweet it, we'll meme it up, like, you know, like we're just doing everything we can to be kind of just like fun and unfiltered and supportive across all socials. And it pays off because they, you know, like even if they don't have a bunch of listeners, they'll come back because they think like that was really cool. Like I like Colorcast, whoever's behind the keyboard there over there. Like it's so brand is super important for us when otherwise it's nothing but all of the casters' brands.
100%. That's awesome. Well, Evan, thanks, man. It's been an absolute blast this morning. We appreciate it a ton. Everyone, thank y'all for tuning in. Great questions today. If you want to reach Evan, how can people reach you? What's the best way for people to reach you?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So personally, the best way to reach me is just shoot me a message or connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm like I'm addicted. So
we all are
there. And if you want to check out Colorcast, honestly, the best way to check it out is just type Colorcast in the App Store. Like the description's there. You can download it, poke around. Awesome. Or go to our website.
Or the website. yeah. I want to throw that back up there. That's awesome. Well, Evan, thanks again for hanging with us, man. And we're looking forward to staying in touch and hopefully big things come your way. Okay.
Totally. Thanks, guys.
All right.
All right.